Hey students, I just wanted to hop on here, create a video, and talk about the top 5 questions that we did not get to last night. First off, I thought last night was fun. Thank you for the great questions. I hope it was a little bit valuable for you to hear our responses to them. I hope it was helpful for you in your faith and your walk with Jesus. The first question, the top liked question that did not get answered last night was, how do I get out of a lustful relationship that does not honor God? When I was thinking about this question, I think whoever asked this question notices that their relationship is not built on the right things. It's not built on following after Jesus and loving each other the way that the Bible wants us to, but it's probably built on this physical desire rather than love, respect, or God's design for holiness. So first off, I think it's just great that you recognize it. If you asked this question or if you feel this question, I think it's good that you recognize that, hey, my desire is not in a right place and I don't know how to go back on it. For you, I think there's a few things. One, I think you just need to pray and ask God for strength and ask God for wisdom. Knowing that He wants to help you through this, and also knowing that He wants you to grow closer to Him through this, despite this sin that maybe you are in. God still wants you to draw closer to Him, not farther away. So lean into Him, ask Him for strength, ask Him for wisdom, ask Him for courage to maybe confront your significant other and say, hey, I don't think this is the best thing for both of us. Really, I think if you recognize that you're in a lustful relationship, I think you got to have that conversation with your significant other, knowing that if you do not, like, things might get worse and you guys might be going down deeper and deeper into this lust, and you really want to pull that Band-Aid off before it gets worse. It's not going to be easy. It's really probably going to be really, really hard. But my challenge for you is to first pray, and then second, see what you can do. Have a conversation with your partner, and it might mean that you guys break up, and it might not be pretty, or maybe you guys try and work things out, and it still might not be pretty, and it might not be great, but I think you've got to be strong and know that God is on your side and wants you to help, or He wants you to help you through this. Question number 2 is this: if God is omniscient and knows how our paths end, then how do we have free will? I was thinking about this question, and I want to use a metaphor from my life. I'm married to Nat, and whenever we both go somewhere at the same time in the same car, it's me who drives. Like, she would say driving is a boy job. And so every single time that we go somewhere, it's me driving, even if it's like all the way to her parents' house 5 hours away or 4 hours away. It's like I'll drive all of that or most of that. And so if Nat and I are going to the grocery store and I ask Nat, hey, do you want to drive? I know what the answer is going to be. Like, she does not want to drive, it's my job. But if I ask her and pose her that question, knowing what the answer will be, does Nat have a free choice to make or no? I would think that she does. I would argue that she does. Even if I know the answer, I still give her the opportunity. I still give her this opportunity to have free will, and maybe she won't choose that. But I know the answer, and I think it's the same thing with God. I think God created all of us exactly how He wanted all of us, and so God knows what we're going to say and what we're not going to say. God knows what we're going to choose and what we're not going to choose. God knows where we're sin and struggle with sin and where we're really holy and pursue after Him. But God still wants to give us a choice. If God doesn't give human beings a choice or free will, even though He knows what's going to happen, if God doesn't give us that choice, then all we are is robots. Like, all we are is programmed to do things without choices. Like, we need choices, we need free will, ultimately to choose Him or to not choose Him. And God probably, He does know who is going to choose Him and who isn't going to choose Him, but if He eliminates that choice, then we're just robots, and that's not true love. Like if God forces everybody to love him, that's not true love. Like if I hold my wife gunpoint every single morning and say, "You better love me," that's not true love. Like my wife has a free choice, and I know that she'll love me for the rest of her life. Like we made that promise to each other, but she still has that free choice, and so I don't think those things contradict. Really, I think God can know everything and still give us free will. So that's how I'd answer number two. Question number three, can you believe in God and science? I think this is a good question. I think the answer is yes. I think science and God can coexist. I even think science can point you closer to God. Like one of our volunteers, Jacob, he's with the middle school boys. He works at Offutt, but really what he does is he studies the space part of whatever. I don't really know exactly what he does. He told me he studies space weather and how that affects, I don't even know. But all to say, Jacob said that he studies space and it leads him to believe in God even more and more and more. He says, the more I learn about space, the more I see this powerful, awesome creator that loves me. And so I think that's the posture we as Christians should take with science. I think science should point us closer to God, not farther away. As we open up our eyes to understand more of the world, we open up our eyes to understand more of God's power and more of God's love. You think about universities and the starting of universities, like the universities, like the most prestigious universities were Christian universities when they started, like Harvard, for example, all of the Ivy League schools, but Harvard, for example, was created by Christians to study science, but ultimately to point Christians closer to God. Like Harvard's motto, their university motto for like 200 years was for God, or what was it? It was for the glory of Christ. Like we are studying science for the glory of Christ. We are studying mathematics for the glory of Christ. Like when you study science, it can point you closer to God. Now, science can probably lead you farther away from God, but I think as Christians, we should study science. We should welcome it with the idea that we're learning more about how awesome God is. Question number four, can God and aliens both be real? Same with ghosts. Can God and ghosts both be real? When you read the Bible, it's not very clear if aliens are real or if ghosts are real. So it's kind of up to personal ideas. For me personally, I think both aliens can be real, and I do truly believe in ghosts. Really, for ghosts, I'll start with ghosts, then go into aliens. I think demons take the appearance of ghosts, and demons haunt people in the appearance of ghosts. And so, whenever I hear about ghosts or a ghostly spirit, like my brain just automatically goes to evil spirits and demons like that. And so, I do think, ghosts can totally legitimately be real and with the existence of God. Now, aliens, I'm not quite sure with everything Area 51 and all of these videos of these spaceships, and you don't know what's real and what's not, and what the government has and what the government doesn't have. My thought with aliens is this. They could totally be part of God's creation in the solar system, but I don't think that changes how God feels about humans. When we read the Bible, God says the most awesome part of his creation is humanity. God says his favorite part about creation is humans. And so aliens can exist, and God maybe created aliens, but his favorite part is you. His favorite part is me. His favorite part of creation is just humanity as a whole. We as humans are created in God's image, which gives us this inherent worth. Aliens are not created in God's image. And so even if, hypothetically aliens do exist, and they're much smarter than us and much faster than us and much stronger than us and have way higher technology than us. Even if that is true, God values us more than aliens. We are made in God's image. We're his favorite part. And so do I think God and aliens and ghosts can all coexist? Yes. Do I know what the answer is? No. It's up to your idea, but I think the main thing is we are God's favorite part of creation. Last one here. Question number 5. If LGBTQ is a sin, is intersex considered a sin, even though that is how they are born? Very, very interesting question. I think it's worded a little bit weird. Um, Point blank, I would say no, I don't think being intersex is automatically a sin. Because if you are born intersex, it's the idea that you have both male and female parts, and it's kind of like some genetic thing. The point of it is you're not making a choice to be intersex, you're not making an action, so thus it can't be a sin. Like a sin is something that you either choose to do or choose not to do when God says you should do that. And so I don't think being intersex is a sin. And I think God has a purpose for people who are intersex, for the ladies and the men who are struggling with this. I think God created them that way, probably for a purpose. Like, it's not a surprise to God when somebody comes out with both male and female parts. Like, God knew that was going to happen. And I think as a church, we need to treat these people with love and respect just like any other people. I think we need to care for them and walk alongside them. They've obviously got some things that they're wrestling with that most of us don't have to wrestle with. And so I think we as brothers and sisters of Christ just need to come alongside them and love them just like we would do anybody else, just like we would do with anybody looking for meaning in life. And so is it a sin to be this way? No, because it's not a choice. It's not an action. A sin is something that you choose to do. Now, some of you may know that the 5 questions I just answered were not the top 5 liked questions. They're just the top 5 liked real questions. So I'm going to go through the bloopers or whatever, the questions that were highly liked but didn't really mean anything. First question was shout out to Caleb Philmon. So I'm not sure how to answer that one, but shout out to you, Caleb. Second question, thoughts on 6'7"? Originally, I hated it because I thought it was annoying, but now it's one of my favorite videos to watch online, especially with basketball season. You've probably seen the videos of like whenever the basketball score gets to 67, like the elementary crowd goes nuts. Like, it's my favorite. Those are like my favorite videos to watch. They're hilarious. Last question, Jordan or Braun? I think it's probably Jordan. I think he paved the way. I think Braun's awesome, but I think Jordan is the GOAT. I'm not that much ball knowledge. I don't have that much ball knowledge. But you think about Jordan's teams, you think about Bron's teams, you think about Jordan playing different sports. I mean, you think about Jordan the brand versus LeBron's brand. Like, it's Jordan. Like, I think it's the NBA is built on Jordan. Sorry. Maybe that'll change in like 20 years when we look back and we say, wow, LeBron was the GOAT, and everybody is focused on LeBron. But I mean, as of right now, it's like Michael Jordan. Is it the NBC network that has the interviews with Jordan? It's like everybody's like freaking out about these interviews. Nobody's freaking about any interview with LeBron. But everybody's freaking out about these interviews with Jordan and how they're not live, and people are upset about that. But it's like, Jordan is the guy. Sorry.